I'm with Nicole Shiff from Holland, who's here in Israel at the moment. Now, Nicole, what are you doing here in Israel?
I am painting murals for kids on different walls, like the soup kitchen, Abraham's kitchen, Jerusalem. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm walking the walls with somebody from an organization, Never Be Silent.
So the murals that you paint, do they express your faith?
Yeah, definitely.
What sort of pictures do you paint?
I paint all sorts of pictures, mainly for kids. And it always has a message of hope and encouragement.
Is there a big definite message there, or do you have to really look into the pictures and see the message that you're painting?
Yeah, I think you have to kind of look into the pictures and have an open heart.
So what inspires you to paint?
My love for Jesus.
Now, you've also been painting down in Sderot. Can you explain the difficulties that the people in Sderot face?
Yes, it's you have to go there to know, because you can read about it, you can watch YouTube about it, but you have to be there to feel the fear.
What sort of things happen in Sderot?
You don't hardly see any people. It's like it turned into like a ghost town. People are afraid to go out in the street. If they do go out in the street, they always travel parts where at least there's a shelter. Well, Sderot's been under fire for the past 8 years. It's about 1 kilometer away from the Gaza Strip, where the rockets come from. They have in between 20 to 40 attacks a day, but the past 91 days they have a ceasefire, so now there's only about maybe 10 a week.
So the Palestinians are firing rockets into Sderot, and that's causing many problems for the residents and the people of Sderot.
Right. And then they close the border, so they try not to have any traffic, but, well, they still fire them anyway.
So how does all these rocket attacks affect the people of Sderot?
Well, besides the damage to the houses, because they're all civilians, most of the houses get damaged. People get hurt. You see kids with one leg. You see kids walking around hurt. I think everybody has somebody in their family that's either hurt or the property was damaged.
So when a rocket attack comes across, does an alarm sound to let people know that there's a fire?
There's a white balloon hanging in the air, and it registers whenever a rocket is being sent off. And then it will enter into the police station, and then you hear all over the city, you hear this a voice telling you to take cover.
So while you were there painting, did you actually hear the alarm go off?
Yeah, I heard the alarm go off.
So what was it like for you just to know that there was a rocket attack and you were in sort of danger?
I wasn't really too moved. There was a lot of children that came running, so I was busy opening the door to let the children in, and they were very scared. And even though I was a complete stranger and a foreigner, they grabbed me and just tried to hold on to me as if I could do something. So I didn't have time to feel fear. I just started singing songs.
How does this affect the children here? They must live in fear every day, knowing that there could be a rocket attack at any time.
Well, it's not just the children, it's also the adults. They're very traumatized. They don't even realize that they're so in bondage of the fear. They think they're healthy, but they're not. And then the kids go to school. Let's say there's lots of aggression. Aggression has been sky high. They cannot learn the material. Their short memory's been lost. So, yeah.
So with rocket attacks every day, do they sort of demonize Palestinian people now because of that, because of what they face and they go through?
Yeah, kind of. I think you can. They don't hate, particularly the Palestinian people, the normal people, but the government, yes, they do. They're very angry at the moment.
At the Palestinian government or their own government?
Both. Both.
Do they feel abandoned by the Israeli government?
They feel abandoned by all of Israel and the government because they built shelters that are not thick enough to keep away a Qassam rocket. So even if you are in a shelter and it drops, then, it's no use, really. The only thing it protects you from is the flying debris that a rocket will cause. It will protect you from that. But a lot of the houses also, and the people that are less fortunate, they don't have shelters. So if there's an alert, they don't even have somewhere to go hide.
Are they getting rocket attacks every day?
Almost every day, except for the ceasefire that's now.
And how many rockets usually come across every day?
I don't know what it is if there's not a ceasefire. I think about 20 a day.
So what sort of paintings were you doing in Sderot?
I tried to encourage. I tried to paint clocks with a dove inside of it, so it would kind of proclaim it's time for peace, just to let them know that there's people out there that care. And all sorts of other things, just funny things to make them smile, things that will lift that fear a little bit.
Now, you're originally from a Jewish background. Have you always known that you were Jewish?
No, I haven't always known I was Jewish. When my parents died, the last one that died was my mother, and she always had this little box. And when she was dead, I finally got a chance to get into the box. Some old people just keep it hidden. My mother was one of those. So then I found all these letters from my grandfather that was in the concentration camp, Bergen-Belsen. So
did she keep it quiet? Because you're obviously from Holland, and Holland was under the occupation of Germany. So was it a sense of fear that she kept everything quiet?
I think, well, maybe a sense of fear, but also a sense of, like an ostrich, she just wanted to hide and stick her face in the sand and just pretend like she wasn't Jew. So she didn't want to talk about it. She didn't want to be remembered about it.
So how did you feel when you actually found out that you were Jewish?
I didn't really feel very much different, except for the part that I realized that the surviving instinct that I have must have come from somewhere, and I think it was from the Jewish side. So I went to Poland, and I went to visit the concentration camp, and that's when it really hit me, when I walked there. And then I realized that my grandfather was shoved into one of those ovens, and then I kind of stood there, and I looked up at the sky, and it was almost like I wanted to say, well, I really actually did. I said, evil didn't conquer because his granddaughter was still walking around. So evil will never conquer.
Yeah. So did people treat you differently once that you found out that you were Jewish?
Some of them did, which is really stupid because I don't understand that piece, really.
So was that anti-Semitism that was causing them to treat you differently?
No, it was more, those problems I experienced was not the anti-Semitism, but the Christians that are so gung-ho about all the Jews, and it's so wonderful, it's so great, and and I don't really understand that. Yeah. I'm just a normal person, just a normal Christian.
Yeah. Now, to find out that your grandfather had died in the Holocaust, how was that for you to find that out?
I wish I had known him. He was probably a nice man, and he died at least for something. It'd be better than dying in a car wreck or something.
So, how did you feel afterwards about the Holocaust, knowing that someone from your family actually died in the Holocaust?
Well, it made it more realistic. I grew up without war, without any of all that, and just hearing the stories. So now the story's not just a story anymore. It comes real.
And it's more personal to you now?
More personal, yeah. So Israel becomes more personal.
So, do you feel Jewish even though you're a believer in Jesus?
Part of me does. It's a small part. Small part is proud. Some way, I don't know why, but...
So what's your prayer for Israel, this land, this nation, the people who live here?
That's a tough one. I guess my prayer would be that when I walked here the first 2 days, and I walked through the old city, I had to cry for 2 days also because I felt God's heart was crying for the people because they have strayed from him so far. And I think my prayer would be that they would see who he is again.
Now, is this your first time in Jerusalem, and do you find it a very religious city?
It's my first time in Jerusalem, and I find it, I find it's the source of everything. It's the source that happens all over the world. It is the source of evil and good.
Does that make you think a lot when you see just so many religious people here, either Muslim or Jewish or Christian? Does it make you think more about your own faith and your own beliefs?
Oh, it got me into trouble. Yes, definitely. It got me into trouble because I never realized how serious the things in Jerusalem are and how come and why. And now I realize it's the source. And then my own faith, I started thinking, well, what am I? I'm a Christian. And what does it all really mean when I'm up here? But the only thing that gets me through is just to hold on to my own identity in Christ.
Now, of course, Jerusalem was a place where Jesus walked. Do you feel closer to God in Jerusalem, or is there something special about Jerusalem, or is Jerusalem like any other city?
No, it's not like every other city. If I feel more special, because he walked here. Well, if you love somebody, you like to know where he comes from. So I love him, so I want to know where he comes from. But I don't feel different, or I don't fall into some, whatever, when I walk somewhere where he might have walked. No. I don't have that.
Now, you have a website with all your paintings on for people to have a look and see. What's your website address?
www.muralsforkids.nl.